What matchups for the 49ers do you really like?
Yeah, and I don't even know that you have to do a lot of like scheme watching to understand that. Like, yeah, I do like right now the interior of the Niners defensive line against their banged up interior. That is both an inflection point in the game and something the Niners have to win. I mean, again, Brock Purdy versus the weather, like that would be something I'd be watching as a matchup. Luckily, that's not a problem. The thing that I think is going to be the most interesting for the 49ers, even if Debo doesn't play, is Brandon Ayuk versus the Detroit defensive backs. Cam Sutton and Kindle Vildor, not great, not great in coverage. And the Lions like to play a lot of man coverage, although I think Aaron Glenn has played a bit more zone this year. But they sell out versus the run, and they play man behind it. This is one of the reasons why Detroit has such a good performance against stopping the run. But if you're going to do that, Ayuk is your man beater. Ayuk, from a route perspective, from a route running perspective, from a hands perspective, is an incredible wide receiver. I mean, I think that just it speaks to the quality of wide receiver play around the NFL that he's not a first team All Pro, but I think he had that kind of season. And so I think if Brandon Ayuk is going to win on man beaters and Brock has enough time to get him the ball, it's going to be a really big day for Ayuk, and it's going to be a big day for the Niners offense. It's going to be what Aaron Glenn decides to do on defense, what he decides to take away for the 49ers. That's going to be really interesting. The thing that the Niners have had trouble with, especially against Baltimore, is three safety looks, big nickel, right? Because the secret sauce to Shanahan is I'm going to come out in 21 personnel. You're going to match up with base defense. I'm going to spam the hell out of your linebackers. Right? Your linebackers can't cover, so I'm going to make them think they're coming up against the run, and then I'm just going to throw behind them. I'm going to throw at them. I'm going to throw around them. I'm going to basically make their life miserable. and the way around that, the way that you can get around that and still stay within kind of good sound run game structure is by replacing one of those linebackers with a safety. It gives you an answer against George Kittle. It gives you an answer against maybe Juwan Jennings, who's good but not fast. And so I think that's going to be a bit of the matchup. It's like, what do the Lions choose to do? What do they choose to stop? And how do they choose to get there? Because if the Niners can force them into 2-1 personnel, they have path to victory, an easy path to victory, because their linebackers are just not great in coverage, and their DBs are not great either. So that I think schematically is going to be interesting what their defensive coordinator does against the Niners offense.